Bassie, Gracie, and I'm like super happy to be here, for sure. Thank you so much for having me, it's such a delight. I thought I'd start by giving a little introduction to myself, a little bit about my upbringing, about where I came from, because I had a pretty unconventional childhood, because I used to be a double-decker bus, but then a small pebble tripped me over, and now I'm a four-leaf clover in a field full of shit. I didn't know where that was going, but I guess that this is it. For £0.50, you used to get 2 Freddos and a Twix, and now I'm making money isn't funny, and I still can't get my chocky fix, made mistakes and broke my wrist. I got a cast and had a laugh, but it's still hard to make a fist, and I still resist. Everything in life that would be serious, as much as I try, I can't look you in the eye and pretend to be mysterious. I'm delirious. Just some Nikes and a bike, please. A cycle by the sea and a tight squeeze. You don't have to like me. Hot summer's day in a tight tee, sweat stains and acne, weight gain and iced tea. It's likely that by the end of this conversation, you won't like me, and I'm trying to tread lightly, desperately trying not to say anything that could get in the way and make you feel like you might quite like to fight me. And I guess so rightly, because I've got views I like to pick and choose, depending on my company. It's no excuse, I haven't got the proof, you're sitting with me, it's clear to see, and maybe I should be somebody that sees that the only real impact I can make in this world is my actions. But I'm not very good at times tables, and I struggle with fractions. I'm gaining traction, I'm like Velcro, I'm finding it hard to let go. And now I only feel myself when I'm hugged. I nicked a brand new phone, but it was myself that I mugged. I'm a mug, I'm a pug, the product of many years unjust inbreeding. I am seething, and it makes me feel alive. Open my eyes and breathe. I feel everything. Thank you. So yeah, I'm like 3 weeks into this like 4-week tour, just like going around the country, going to like all the local poetry nights, meeting all the local poets, and it's like such a dream, honestly. Like so many towns in this country have their own poetry night, their own poetry scene where people get up and say whatever the fuck they want, having fucking DJs and magicians, like it's fucking great, man. But I get pretty scared performing at poetry nights. Because I'm worried that proper poets hate me, because my poems always rhyme, and then I rhyme the words that rhyme with words like slime and time and rhyme, and like that's not proper poetry. That's a children's bedtime story. So I'm sorry if you proper poets find my poems boring. If you're snoring over there at the back, I never write my poems down because my spelling's always crap and my handwriting is messy and the layout isn't thought through. I never write those proper poems like those proper poets ought to, like you're taught to. I don't use similes or analogies. I just say what I mean, and the meaning's always simple. The message always seen. Poets write poems for BBC 4. Well, I write poems for CBBC. I am karaoke to music. I am baby bell to cheese. And that pleases me, because the art form is so hilarious, from haikus all the way to rap. And I'll save the proper poems for the proper poets most of the time, because I can do proper poetry properly, but it will probably possibly rhyme. Thank you. I've noticed something recently. I don't know if maybe you guys have noticed it too. I've noticed it started to become somewhat of like a cultural phenomenon, if you will. I've noticed these boys have started growing wings. Tiny, bony growths under their baggy North Face t-shirts, and they don't know what to do. Because they've been told they were boys for so long, and now there's something new. Pure white feathers sprout between shoulder blades, and they're scared. Some of these boys wish the wings weren't there. They file them down with razor blades and they cut the feathers off. It's bloody and it's painful, and it doesn't last for long, because next day in the shower they catch their back in the mirror, and much to their dismay, the wings just keep getting bigger. So they wrap them up in bandages. Don't swim, don't sunbathe, don't wear tight-fitting clothes. If you wrap the wings so tightly, it's almost as if nobody knows, but every day they grow. Their wingspan twice the size of their height. I was looking out the window of a bus one day, and I saw it catching flight. And I knew that he'd be worried, because he's always been so scared of heights, but I guess now he sees he never really was, he never really had to be what he was watching on TV, because now he's flying sky high over the stormy Brighton Sea. Thank you. Woo! People often ask me what that poem's about. Like maybe it's about the trans experience. Maybe it's about being born into a body you don't recognise, having to create your own identity, forge your own way in life, or maybe it's about like redefining masculinity. Maybe it's about these soft lads, these gentle lads, these empathetic lads, these lads that surround me. Or actually, it's about X-Men. I don't know if you guys have seen X-Men, but it's really good. The third movie of the originals. I'm not talking about the remakes. A guy grows wings, smashes the shit out of a hospital, fucks a load of people up. It's a great movie. Really recommend you checking it out. I love sci-fi. I've always really loved sci-fi. It's been a really, really big part of my upbringing. It's like really deep in my family's story, because my parents actually met in a quantum time loop. Don't know if anyone can relate. Yeah, it's actually a really funny story. My dad bought a time machine by accident. He thought it was an electric barbecue, but instead of sizzling sausages, it took him back to 1992. And he was overwhelmed with this sudden misadventure. Surprised, he had to relive his life, but he thought, there's not a second to wait, because all I've got to do is find my future wife. And he finds her at her rundown apartment, where she lived during her university days. She didn't recognise this stranger in front of her. He said to her, now this might sound quite strange. We met 40 years ago in the French Alps. We made quite a pair, you and me. We very quickly established a relationship. In fact, we married in 1993. We have 2 kids together. They're funny and a little bit insane, but I appear to have got stuck in the past, so wondered, would you be up for doing it again? And my mum rolls her eyes shrugs her shoulders. You see, she had the pick of the guys, but for some reason, she really did believe it. So she said, fine, you've got the rest of my life. And my dad tells me how he met my mother on a skiing trip organised by his uni. And my mum tells me how she met my father. He was this nutter that was stark raving loony. And I said, Dad, don't you think that was a bit of a bold move? Bit of a gamble? Bit of a risk? I mean, if a bloke told me that on my doorstep, I would think he was taking the piss. My dad says, now I'm not a man of religion. I don't believe in miracles, and I don't believe in fate. But I've never met another quite like your mother. And there's not a second that I'm willing to wait. Thank you. I've got a friend, right? Actually, I've got lots of friends. I don't want to stand here and brag, but I've got many a friend. But I'm talking about a particular one friend, and he's really sad, and he's been so sad for years, and he's been calling me up a lot recently. He's like, Gracie, like, I'm so sad. What should I do? What should I do? And I'm like, are you drinking enough water? People say that yoga helps. I don't know, man. I don't have any solutions. He called me up the other day, and he was saying the same thing. It's so unbearable. And I told him that today the left strap on my backpack broke, and now I have to carry the weight of the world on my right shoulder. I mean, it's just my laptop and a couple of books, but today it feels like Sisyphus' boulder. I wish I was bolder, because then I would tell you everything you're doing wrong. I put it all in this motivational song instead of this demotivational poem. Instead, I'll just sit here, stoic, and listen to your emotion drown me like the ocean in this ever-growing hole in this poke that I'm growing, and I'm throwing out the water at an ever-increasing rate. Man, I am so lucky to have things that make me feel great. I think it's fun going for an early morning run, walking home on my own when it's really late. If I could shrink myself down, I would swim through your veins. I would go straight to your brain and try and rearrange everything that makes you feel this way. I would take out your parietal lobe so you wouldn't feel pain, but I am massive and passive. And the technology does not exist for successful parietal lobe extractions. In fact, maybe I think it does, but chances are you'd have a bad reaction, because instead of elation, I would cause you to malfunction. I would cause destruction, which is in contrast to my aim. I just want to make you feel calm without doing any harm. I wish I could make you feel great. Today, the left strap on my backpack broke, and now I have to carry the weight of the world on my right shoulder. And look, I know global warming is making the ice caps melt, but today the whole world is just feeling colder. I'm so grateful to be doing this. I've wanted to be a poet since I was like such a little kid. I remember my teacher asking me what I wanted to be when I grew up. And I said, when I grow up, I want to write poetry. I want to be a poet. My teacher said, that's great, you know. Loved the enthusiasm. Lots of jobs involve poetry. You could go into advertising. I was like, wait, I don't want to go into advertising. I want to write my silly little poems. And yeah, I've been doing this tour for about 3 weeks now. And a couple of nights ago, I was having a cigarette outside, and I saw an old lady leaving with my book. I'm selling it here with my book in her arms, and it was just one of those like gut punch moments. Like, fuck, I'm doing it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not writing adverts. I'm writing poetry. But this is an advert for my poetry book, so I take cash. But no, man, I hated school. I fucking hated school. Like, they put numerical value on things like music, art, poetry, things that we should just be doing because we're human, and that's what humans do. That's what makes us feel good. It's not about how good you are. It's not about being better than someone else. It's just about doing it, you know? It's like, how would you rate this poem out of 10? Have I got room to improve? Would you recommend me to a friend? I'm not going to stand here and try and pretend that that's a means of appreciation and you're not trying to condescend, because this ain't no competition. Let me repeat, this ain't no competition. Everyone's just writing off their own volition. The only thing they're comparing you to is the tradition, the application of tuition. Other musicians are like, don't even let me start on GCSE art. Like, teacher, will you please tell me dearly, how can I express this teenage angst a bit more clearly? Yearly, they're telling classes of kids they can't draw, and then they've got absurd expressionist prints stuck on the classroom door. What's it for? I'm not sure. So, if you think you're faster than me, I've got some cones and a whistle in my backpack. When this night is over, we can go outside, have a little running race. I'm not that fast, but, you know, see if it's true. And if you beat me at a game of chess, well, like, that's a point to you. But if you think you're better creatively, there's nothing really you can do, because it's all just personal opinion. And my opinion is fuck you. Thank you. Never won a poetry slam, so you might call that poem a little bit salty, but yeah, man. It's about writing from your heart, man. Each of these poems I'm writing for myself, essentially. I'm writing to say in the mirror of the girls' toilets, before I walk on stage, before I walk into the job interview, before I meet my partner's parents for the first time, before I walk back into the social situation. I'm essentially just trying to big myself up. I'm trying to feel empowered, you know, and this is the only way I know how. I don't know where you guys feel empowered from, but I feel it from my belly. I feel it rise at the back of my spine. I feel my jaw unclench, my shoulders relax. Suddenly I'm looking people in the eye. I'm telling the people that I love them. And I don't know what this feeling is, this feeling I get in my belly, this feeling of empowerment. But personally, I believe that it's your feminine. I think she lives within each and every single one of you. I think she is strong. I think she is sexy. I think she is hard to hide, and right now I am looking into her eyes. I want you to give me that girl with the ego. Because where she go, I go. She's free though. Give me that girl with the presence on stage. Give me that girl that doesn't act her age. Give me that girl that is proud of her rage and manages to channel it in creative ways. I want to be her mate. No, wait. I want to be her. She lives inside of me. I just need to free her. Surround myself with women that only want to see her. Surround myself with women that are just like me. Duh. Give me that girl that is unapologetic. Give me that girl that won't let me forget it. Give me that girl that is endlessly courageous. Give me that girl that is stupidly flirtatious. Give me that girl that just don't give a shit. Give me that girl that won't let me quit. Give me that girl that gives everyone a kiss. Give me that girl, she is ridiculous. Give me that girl that laughs the loudest. That's the girl of which I'm proudest. Because that is the girl that you were taught to hide. And girl, I know you got her living inside. So hold your head high and always take pride. in the power of your prowess and the palace of your mind. Thank you, I'll be Bassie, Gracie.